everyone. Okay, so today is my first day on a 3-month leave from work. So I had a conversation with somebody about a month ago, and topic of short-term disability came up, and I said, you know what, that was really smart. I'm going to do the same thing too, because I need a mental health break. I need to get my mental health right. So that's what I did. I took a mental health 3-month leave, short-term disability. So I'm getting paid for that. The company pays 100% for like the first 8 weeks, and then the remaining 4 weeks is like 80%. And then like also like your first week is unpaid or something like that. But the thing is, the state of Connecticut kicks in and they cover you for whatever gaps you have with Affleck. So I'm still getting 100% of my pay. So I am so thankful for that conversation and that thought. And so I put it in motion immediately, because I was down to like 2 days worth of sick time left and like a day and a half of PTO. And I was like, how am I going to finagle this for the last 2 months? Like, I know I could do it, but I know that there's going to be a day where I'm going to want to be just like, I can't today. And I want to just call in sick. And I was down to the wire. So I said, and that's why I was looking at like, what other kinds of leave could I qualify for? And then just as the Matrix does, or as we attract as source players, that conversation happened. And that gave me the knowledge I needed. And then I put it in action. And I was very strategic about telling them what I was needing, that I need to go on mental health, short-term disability related to menopausal depression. That's what I put. Because menopause, age-related, protected. It's protected. Okay? You're protected by age and mental health. This company takes mental health very seriously. They take all of this very seriously, as far as like protected classes, everything. They're very much about that. So I was very strategic about that, because I want to establish that certain things. So let me just back up for a minute. So since March, since I moved out of my brother's house, I had kind of been having performance issues. Now, I've never struggled with work ever. I've never, in any position that I've had, I've never struggled. Okay. But this year in particular, combination of things, but also with the menopause, here's how things happen for me. Okay. If it's out of sight, it's out of mind. Now, I have all these different tools, all these different resources for my job that I should be referring to with every case that I'm working on. And a lot of times I was just forgetting to access certain resources and look up the information. So what was happening is that I was having like these little blips. So while I wasn't performing really badly, it was enough where my quality was coming down, that it wasn't meeting my expectations and my pace. So, quality has to be at 92% for the month, and pace has to be at a minimum of 5.8, meaning that I'm handling five to six customers per hour by email or by chat or by both. Okay. So sometimes my quality was at like 89%. Now, last year that would have been fine, but they bumped up our quality to 92% in 2025. And the pace was at 5 previously, and they bumped it up to 5.8. So there was like maybe 1 or 2 months where it was like a 5.6 or something like that, because things started to become a little bit more complex and a little bit more messy as far as the kind of like support tickets that I had to handle. And it wasn't like easy stuff. And so I slowed down a little bit. And then like I said, my quality was suffering in some respects. And the quality is where it was really getting me, because it was like, well, we've tried to like stretch this out for you a couple of times. This is my team leader. And, and she and I, as soon as she like really brought things to my attention, I worked very hard to self-correct and get myself back in, the game here. But also fully having to address that the menopause is affecting me, my concentration and my ability to connect all the dots that I need to. Whereas like, a couple of years ago, this was never an issue. And this is entirely menopause related. And how do I know that? Well, it's because I recently started hormone replacement therapy, and having progesterone replaced, things are changing. I've been on this for 2 weeks and I can already see improvements. I can see improvements in my mental clarity, in my non-existent fatigue now. That's the other thing. Now, granted, that was compounded with the fact that I hadn't been using my CPAP machine since August, because the CPAP was too strong. I needed to get an appointment with the sleep doctor so we can adjust the machine. However, I hadn't been using it also because, it was suffocating me in the middle of the night. It was ripping it off. But also the water tank had cracked and it was leaking. So I was like, I'm not going to replace this until I know what the status is of my machine, and then I'll get the tank. So I was going months without proper sleep. That was another compounding factor. So of like 3 weeks of being on my CPAP machine again, that has been an improvement. But even still, when I was on the machine, the fatigue was never going away. And I couldn't determine, was it my sleep apnea? Was it my low thyroid? What is causing me the fatigue? Well, it was my hormones. Because I am on a different level of energy throughout the day now for the last couple of weeks. And I'm like, wow, this is night and day. So I could just imagine how having like a full month and then maybe like a full 3 months, like, usually it takes like 3 months for any kind of like medication or supplement to get into your body and make significant improvements. So that's where I'm at. Okay. And there's been other things that have been like kind of like on my mind that has just been waiting, but this performance was really getting to me. So I managed to get out of this like warning stage now. So like my quality is where it should be and my pace is where it should be. And I was like, but I need to get out of here for now. I need to get out of here for a period of time. And I had been looking at all different alternatives. Like, what could I qualify for? I was like, I'm going to fake somebody's death. I don't know. Like, I need time off because I don't have enough time in where I could take a sabbatical. So I was like, I know. And then the conversation happened. And then I was like, that's what I'm going to do because I need to get my mental health right. And I think it's important for any source player that we work on our mental health if we're struggling with stuff. I think this game for sure can mess with your mental health. At any point in time, it can mess with your mental health. It's it's a real thing. So, so it definitely was hormonal, but it's definitely situational. And I could tell you from 2019, let's start from 2019, but 2020 was like the nail in the coffin with me as far as how I was feeling because, that was the beginning of the pandemic here in the US and having to deal with people on the phone that were trapped in their houses and they were miserable people as it was. And now they're trapped in the house. They can't go out and be miserable amongst other people. They're going to call customer service all day and just be nasty because they don't want to know where their coins are. I paid you your money. Where are my coins? You didn't pay us the money because we can't take your money till we ship your product. Dealing with that all day. And that just got to me and that burned me out. And burning out and depression, I would say, are hand in hand. And I got to a point in like 2022, 2020, end of 21, end of 20, and into 2022, where I just could not bring myself to go out and run deliveries anymore, which is why I was trying to move into more soft life with doing the dog walking and stuff like that. But then I ended up breaking my foot and dealing with Pam, who was a complete narcissist. She is a complete narcissist. I've never worked for somebody. And I thought I worked at the coin company during the pandemic. I mean, I worked for that coin company for a few years, and the owner of that company, she's bad, but Pam takes the cake. And Pam was a full-blown narcissist, and having to deal with her with a broken foot and all that stuff and just craziness, it'll get to anybody. And I that was it. I could not, all I wanted to do was stay home. I like being a hermit. I really do. It's one of my favorite things. Aside from sleep, being a hermit in my girl cave is my favorite thing. Okay? Don't get me wrong. I like going out. I like getting fresh air. I like looking in nature. Oh, and by the way, this is their backyard. Okay? Like, look at this tree. How beautiful is that? Right? They just bought this house a few months ago and they're remodeling it. Oh my gosh. But like, this is what I'm staring at. They have this big wall of windows here. This entire back wall is windows. It's beautiful. And they're vaulted ceilings, as you can see. So it's nice. So even though they're going through the remodel, they're like, are you going to be okay? I'm like, don't worry about it. I'll be good. I got a place to sleep. I'm good. Everything else is cake. So anyway, that's where I'm at. Taking care of my mental health. Working on my dog sitting course that I was building a year ago that I never got started because I had to put things to the side because I couldn't understand certain things. I didn't have time to learn the things that I needed to learn. And that's the important thing now, is now I'm going to have the time to take the time to see how to put the course together. And I have all this content that I created for it, and I just need to put it there and categorize it and make sure it's all organized and cohesive and all that. And I just never had the time to do it because I've been in survival mode for, however long, having to go out and work and do this and do that and all this crap, because you make one choice and then all the consequences, all of the chain reaction of that choice, So now I have the time to do that course, to finish that course, but I have time to learn other things. I have time to work on my resume because the job is a whole other thing. I'm not saying that I'm going to be eliminated, but my job is tech, and we're all implementing AI now. And there's like a certain level of like support tickets that I don't even have to touch anymore because our AI bot handles it. So my team that was hired 2 years ago, we're working hard to be able to transition into better positions. And that's, had I not had this performance issue, I could have already been there. But I now, I was a little bit behind the eight ball. Now that I'm out of it, I'm free and clear. This mental health break is going to just get me better. But the good thing is like my team leader, she's very proactive about that stuff. And she's like, we had a really frank conversation last week because I said to her, I was like, our cues are really down. I was like, obviously it's clear to see like the AI bot is really intelligent and it really is like having a conversation with a person. I was looking at the transcript of one of them one day because if the person does want to speak to a human, it will send the ticket. It will send a chat to a human person or an email. And then like you can see the transcript of what the person said to the bot, and the bot is very intelligent. So it's inevitable. Plus they have outsourced third party in Cairo and Malaysia, and they're like a third to pay. It costs them a third to pay them than it does to pay us. But we do have advancement opportunities. It's just I need to get to that. And 6 months ago, I should have been on that trajectory, but now all this stuff happened. So whatever, it's all good. I'm not in any kind of like precarious position with my position. When I get my mental health back up where it needs to be, I'm going to hit the ground running when I go back to work so that, I'm going to start working on my resume again so that my resume is stellar by the time, if in when it comes, but also building my internal resume. Like there's different things that like my team lead can help me do. She prepares all of us when we're looking for a different position. You have to do certain things to signal to the rest of the company that you want to be in a different position and that you deserve to be, by doing X, Y, and Z. You do all these different things. This shows them this person's on the right track. So all of those things are going to be coming in the pipeline in February, March. So, right now I don't have to worry about any of that, but there's just different things. I'm prepping as far as that. I'm not going to be a prepper, I'm not going to be a doomsday prepper. I'm just saying I'm prepping for those things because you have to just always be proactive about that. And I have that opportunity to do that. So the business, my own personal business, as far as that, I've started laying the groundwork for these different things for at least the last month. And building like these AI social media accounts where I'm creating faceless content and it's music and it's stuff like that. And it's all AI generated. And first of all, the creativity flowing from it and just like getting immense joy from seeing what AI, if you don't play around with AI, I would recommend to use Gemini, Google Gemini, and play around with like Nano Banana or any kind of like AI imaging thing and video. It's amazing. It's amazing how quickly the AI has advanced the tools that they've put out now for people. I mean, obviously, if you really think about it, the AI that we interact with as far as the NPCs, it's as good as that. That's my point. It's so incredible. And also, and all I keep thinking of every time I create something is this is the perfect visual depiction of how to tell a source player how to create something. Because literally, I'm creating videos from text prompts. I'm saying, this morning, I want a golden retriever puppy rolling around, having fun, being funny, cute, adorable, and that's it. And it created me a 10-second video of this cute little golden retriever puppy that looks so real and realistic. It's crazy. But at the same time, it is so awe-inspiring. And it just I'm like that. Every time I create something, I'm just more in love with the creations that come out. I'm like, this is just fascinating to me. I love it. I love the AI. I do. I really do. But I've been creating videos. I've been creating, I create ASMR videos, but like different things like where it's like bath bombs or slime and all this stuff. And every day I post one video a day and I'm getting followers on all these accounts. I've been building these accounts for like a month. Now, granted, they're not like tremendously, like I'm still under 1,000, but in like 3-4 weeks, I've gotten like 300 followers on each account. Okay. So it's stuff like that. I'm like, oh, wow, I'm inspired. Okay. I had a mind shift because I've been trying to build my own personal account where, I'm making videos all the time. And I was like, I'm just gonna whatever. I'm just gonna not take that as seriously because I was trying to be a TikTok affiliate for so long. Selling, promoting stuff from the TikTok shop. And that hasn't been panning out. So it's like, I need to just take the mental, but even still, like that has kind of been popping off a little bit now because I've changed a couple of tactics. So it's just this whole, like all of my dots starting to connect from having hormone replacement therapy, getting certain things in order. I'm going to be seeing a psychiatrist as soon as my referral comes through and they give me an appointment because I need that. I really need that. And I might have to be more proactive starting this week because I've been waiting 2 weeks and I still haven't gotten that referral. Like I haven't gotten the appointment. So anyway, this is a vlog and this is just me brain dumping. But it's important because our mental health is very important in this game. It's very important. And I know a lot of us struggle. I know a lot of us do. So I come from a generation where admitting you have mental health issues is stigmatized. It was always stigmatized and the resources just weren't there. or it was stigmatized. It was very expensive. You know, you just didn't admit. You just didn't admit that, like, you know, oh, maybe I'm depressed, or maybe I'm bipolar, or maybe I'm this, or maybe I'm that. You just white knuckled it. And I'm like, you know what? That's dumb. It's dumb. I want to be happy. Frederick has been talking all these videos about, like, just be happy, be joyful, be in joy, be in the now. And it's like, you know, if you can't emote it, because I know joy is a state of being, but it is actually a feeling. And I could tell you, you know, I know what it feels like. And I actually tapped into it going out looking at Christmas decorations. And that's the other thing. Christmas is the season of joy. Thanksgiving, season of gratitude. And if you're not in that headspace, how are you going to have gratitude for your life? How are you going to have gratitude for this amazing creation we have created that we are living immersed in? How are you going to have gratitude for that? And you know, hey, I'm going to lean into Christmas season this year, and I'm going to feel joy. I'm going to be one of the jolliest a-holes if you ever see Christmas Vacation. But yeah, so hey, if you need to take a mental health break and you can do it and get paid, do it. Because thank you for telling me about that, because I would have never done it on my own. And that's all I got to say. This is a ramble, and that's all good. I'm going to go bed rot for a little while longer. All right, be well.